I actually think this person who's making fun of the appearance of the TERF would be a better and more reliable ally than this person. The person responding by saying that it's problematic to define a trans woman's validity by her appearance via implication of insulting the appearance of a TERF. I think this person is more likely to be a fair weather friend, more concerned with ideological purity and gatekeeping than they are with the thing that actually would make a difference to the quality of my life, which is us winning. That's the thing. Like, you want, like, the clocky trans women to be safe. That's great. Me too. Okay? So the number one priority of winning that fight is, like, winning that fight. You know what I mean? And honest to God, I know a lot of people, cis and trans, who like this sentiment, who are like, hey, listen, I don't think that passing defines your validity as a trans person. That being said, Schaefer is shitting in the mother cunt and the TERF looks busted horseface, or something to that effect. I know a lot of people who are like that, and I think that's a very human position. I think that's like an inconsistency that if you recognize it, it doesn't actually feel like it's that hypocritical, because you can easily just talk through the, yeah, obviously I hate her, so I'll say mean things about her, but that doesn't mean I think that Hunter Schafer wouldn't be a trans woman if she didn't look the way that she looks, which is very feminine. Oh my God, thank you for this, Vaush. As a trans woman, I've never felt comfortable being friends with people who won't be real with me. Every day I wonder if I'm passable, and I can't rely on woke friends because they'll always say yes. I know exactly what you mean. It's one of the reasons that I got really popular with trans women, because I'm one of the only very obviously pro-trans community holders on the internet that isn't a hug box. Literally, like, from day one, that was what I always got. It was like, okay, you're pro-trans, great, but you're also not, like, you know, insincerely hugboxy about it. You're not, you know, and this is one of the reasons why /LGBT does well. TTTT, you know, the 4chan, the one, that's where all the trans women go when they want to be like, I'm 19, is it over? I'm Han maxing, I look like a brick, I'll never pass. And they post a picture that's a zoomed in photo of like 1 millimeter of bone right here or something. You know, that's that community. And the reason they're like that is because they want to break from hyper-inclusive, hyper-woke, hyper-familiar, hyper-friendly spaces that infantilize you, like basically every pro-trans subreddit in existence, you know, where they're all like nya cat girl or something. And you'll have people who look like, well, like me, posting and saying like, do I pass? And the comments will be like, yes, you do, queen. And it's like, you can... It's the dialectic again. You create a hug box so people look for, you know, anything that isn't a hug box, and they find like essentially like femcel, incel, whatever spaces that denigrate you and make you feel like shit, but it's not a hug box. What's a hug box? A community that's overly performatively, insincerely kind to each other. So you can't really like get a read on them. Good friends will tell you the truth. Good communities will too. And I don't bullshit you guys. Unless it's funny. But then I walk it back. Sake with the 5 tier 1 subs. I'm so glad that my retard quota to discourage fascism theory was proven correct years later. Vindictiveness wins. Vindictiveness really sells. Anybody who's out there telling you that it's problematic to call Elon a retard or whatever, I don't consider them an ally. And I mean that. Really, I don't. Like, what are your priorities, you know? What are you focusing on? Really? Like, really? That's really what you're gonna get up in arms about? Oh, but what if you called a black conservative the N-word? Well, that's different. That's the N-word. That's not retard. Literally. It's not bad to be black. It's bad to be a retard. Don't be stupid. Also, can you imagine what the mind state must be of a person who actually thinks calling Elon the N-word would be the same, or sorry, Elon a retard is the same as calling like a black conservative the N-word? Like, what has to be going on in their head for them to actually think those two things are the same? No one would ever say that. Stay off Twitter. That last segment of what's actually effective for critiquing conservatives sang to my soul. I love being mean to these cretins. Cheers. Yeah, it's... I really think that a lot of people who are concerned with the niceties could stand to interact with like outside society a little bit, or to see like what actually blows up or what does well, because it's just like, I don't know. Should we call Blair White a man, dark woke? Nah, because I don't really think you're selling any point there. Like, what do you do? Like, what are you doing there? You know? Like, I mean, what point are you making? You're just being transphobic. There's not like an underlying dunk or argument. You're just being transphobic. There's no, that would be like calling a black conservative the N-word. Like at that point, you're just using her as a legitimate target, you know? Being misogynistic doesn't make a point either, dumb fuck. You don't think any point was being made with the dunk prior? Also, dumb fuck? Why are we being mean? What did I do? There's already so much horrifying misogyny on the rise, can you not? So this is what I mean. If you think that misogyny is rising because people are defending a trans actress by saying she's prettier and more feminine than a busted ass TERF, I think your perspective is fucked. I think you're speaking out of insecurity. You're touched by the subject, so you have like a immediate feeling of discomfort about it, you know? But I think that if you think that's a contributing force to misogyny broadly, I just don't think that's the case. I don't. I think it's an oppositional force. What's with the psychoanalysis, lol? That wasn't really psychoanalysis. Suggesting that a subject might be close to a person's thoughts isn't really psychoanalysis. You saying misogyny is okay isn't contributing to misogyny? Depending on how you do it and frame it, yeah. Much in the same way that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I think, advances a pretty progressive political message by often engaging in reactionary humor. Yeah. We've been doing this for a while, you know? You watch my content. Where have you been? You know? You've been here for a long time. But yeah, 100%. You wouldn't say racism is okay or transphobia is okay, so why misogyny? I don't understand what you mean. I literally made an analogy to how you could make an equivalent kind of joke along trans or race lines or whatever and make the same basic point. You can have a little misogyny as a treat. Personally, I think it's alienating and weird and off-putting that this is even a subject of discussion at all. If that makes any sense. Like, to me, the fact that there needs to be a post-conversation about saying that TERF is busted and the woman she was insulting the appearance of is gorgeous, the idea that there needs to be, like, a secondary conversation about the ethics of it, to me, just, like, this shit is not winning rural Pennsylvanians, you know? It's not happening. Also, I think there's an insincerity to it because even the wokest among you are also thinking this in your head, man. You just don't say it out loud. Pardon me for doing the silent majority bit, but like, you would have made that same comparison in your head. You just wouldn't have said it. An ugly TERF saying Hunter Schafer doesn't pass. In your head, you also would have looked at it and gone, she's mogging your ass in the fucking femoff, you know, mother, cunt, toilet, etc., etc. You would have thought it. Isn't it a little bit insincere for us to pretend that the vocalization of that feeling is like, I don't know. I mean, can't we at least address it? Whatever. Hug boxes have literally only harmed the presence of the left. Yeah, it does kind of feel that way. It does seem like the hug boxy attitude has only hurt the left, both internally and externally, in that it makes it harder to bring new people in, but it also creates really negative, toxic, fragile attitudes for the people who rely on them. Not suggesting, by the way, that the TTTT approach is better. It's worse, actually, but it's a violent rejection of the hug box. I'm thinking, you know, I don't know. I've tried to walk this line. I feel like it's good.